some great returns here in Overwatch instead. I'm ZP, joined here by JCap once again. And Jason, we're going to be getting some names that are a blast from the past, making their way forward here in this matchup.
Well, blast from the past is, I guess, one way to say it. For me, it's more of flashbacks to my Vietnam experience back in DreamHack, where casting complexity, with a certain hard blue on the team, and having the server crash 6 times was it? So recasting Hollywood 6 times was definitely the highlight of my day there.
We are also starting on Hollywood. Let's just be entirely clear here. So,
Yep.
Complexity, they strike again.
So this is gonna be an interesting one because we have two long-standing teams going up against each other. Kungarna up against Envision. Yeah, Kungarna's a different roster. Envision's a little bit of a different roster as well. But there's also some cross-pollination here. Shane did play for Envision back at APAC 2017, just this last year in November. He was the tank player for them, and he'll be playing tank here for this team. On the other side, you've got, well, it's a name I never thought I would necessarily say again because I don't really cast a lot of North American Overwatch, but it's Bud's coming in for the team to join Envision. And McGravy switching from, DPS to, I guess, a more guaranteed flex tank position.
Yeah, McGravy has definitely made the swap more to flex tank in recent times, and it's actually Jaro who's gone from old projectile DPS, where he was really well known to contenders for his Genji play, to more of the hit scan tracer jail role, as teams like to call it, where it's actually called tracer jail, I kid you not. But Jaro is in that role now, and Buds has made the shift from hit scan to projectiles, so you blink a few times here, Jason, give a few months, and suddenly everything you thought you know is now different. But it should be interesting to see how Envision plays this one out.
And also, McGravy was really well known for his Roadhog back at APAC, so I'm curious to see if we're going to have that come out into light, maybe have some triple tank setups come. It's weird to see Buds on projectile, considering he was like a Reaper player back in Fnatic, like back with IGDQD and stuff. But we'll see how this one goes. We're kicking things off on Hollywood. It will be Kungarna on the defense, and it will be Envision on the attack.
And Envision, this composition, simply put, is all about a quick dive that doesn't really waste a whole lot of time. Bud's already surveying the cafe, and look at who's with them. Both tanks. So you're going to see Winston dive in, Buds and D.Va both moving in as well, but they lose Ice Shiny immediately, so Buds is going to have the power to finish off kills like he would if there was a Winston still alive there. McGravy's going to get demeched, and quite simply, this push is denied, and that's Ezire you see in the back, and he has been phenomenal in the shadows of the Tier 2 team.
Really interesting to see that, Shane actually went for the counter dive there. He's baiting Ice Shiny in to go in towards top of Cafe, then jump directly on top of him, applying the shield. Saving his jump for the extra, 50 bit of damage. But now they're going to go on the attack for a second time here. Bud's only about halfway through to his Dragon Blade. McGravy only 36% in, where Hardblade has pretty much 30% lead on top of him. But they have the standard, let's play soldier from long range, let's kind of bait you in, then tug and pull, and so far they've been able to bait the tanks in.
Ezire maintaining spacing really well here, getting good damage when he feels it's safe. Under pressure from McGravy, but is firing it right back to the tanks. Ice Shiny gonna die first again, and Ezire smells blood in the water. Attack visor up, and this is just easy cleanup towards the end. And what we're seeing here, Jason, they're not able to really dive the backline effectively, but Buds, he says, screw it, I'm all in. I don't know if he has the support to actually do this. Most of the blade is wasted, and Buds perhaps would like to take that one back.
And a Transcendence out of Crimzo.
This is interesting ult economy coming out here from Envision. I mean, they are keeping up a degree of pressure, but respawns are coming in for Kungarna. They're all in. They're investing the barrier on top of it all. McGravy holding in on the point, can self-destruct at any moment, and he's just going to drop it onto the point, creating space as the defense tries to recover. Meanwhile, Shane, Primal Rage at the right, not able to Primal Rage in time, and that could have been the difference maker.
Could have been, but we can't count them out just yet. They still have quite a few people left alive. Jesus was trying to contest the point, trying to keep it, or at least prevent it from being captured, but there's the dive from Buzz, getting directly to the back to try to hold them off of the point. They still have 1 or 2 people left there, so they're still having a slight chance with Hard Blue being demeched. And with Haku coming from the side, looks like they will finally be able to pick up this payload and the checkpoint, with now 4 minutes to work with into second.
And that's interesting to me because, again, the thing that strikes out is Shane still has Primal Rage. If he was able to Primal Rage at the last moment and delay, as Ezire was coming back into the fight, that could have ended very differently because Ezire got picked by Crimzo towards the end, but it's harder to focus on the soldier when you sort of have to put Discord Orb onto the Winston lest he never died. So In any case, Kungarna, not a terrible defense. They get a chance to lick the wounds, and Jason, they're going to dive right in.
They're going to force the fight off the bat. Harblu's being pushed away by Ice Shiny, though. But Ice Shiny's being chunked down solo in HP. Looks like he will be healed up. That Discord Orb was definitely spot on as Shane as well jumping in, trying to cause a distraction. The Pulse Bomb's coming towards the back. Looks like Jar unfortunately did not land it, but there's the aggressive Transcendence to push them back and the Blade to fall without a buzz.
Bud's Dragon Blade here in the bar, moving over with his Winston. Not able to get the last slash, had to put the blade away, but doesn't quite matter. Everyone has fallen, and it's a successful push here for Envision. And this is a case where the defense of Kungarna has been a bit off-center for a while now. This is going to be a key fight that's coming up.
I think there was just a couple seconds that a window that Envision did excel on because they attacked right before Haku had Transcendence. He was at like 96%. If he had that, that would have been a completely different fight.
Oh, Jesus was looking for the sneaky Pulse Bomb. Instead, just got wrecked in the middle of the street. It's a 5v6 for Kungarna. They still invest the sound barrier. They have a Transcendence in reserve, and Ice Shiny died first again. Now, Kungarna can back this up with the Transcendence. It's 5-on-5, and Ezire off the flank. Kills 2 with the Tactical Visor. That's going to be enough for Kungarna to hold, and they did that, Jason, as a 5v6.
Yeah, the Transcendence of Haku, it worked out really well, and of course Ezire, like you mentioned, getting in a good position to pick up 2 kills, but now there's going to be a big desync between Haku and Buds. And I think Buds knows this. I think the entirety of Envision know they have this big window to work with now, as long as Haku doesn't get a lot of damage off, doesn't build up a lot of ult percent, and that's all they needed before, was just Buds. The threat of his blade was enough to force them back into the saloon, and then eventually able to help pick up the kills with Ice Shiny and McGravy jumping on top of them. But they're taking so much trip trying to transition in towards the payload here.
They just want to focus on the payload. They want Kungarna to get down off the high ground and fight them here up close. Now, you see Harblu got caught out there by McGravy. He's already out of the fight to begin with. Kungarna going to be working at disadvantage again. Their tank front line decimated. Shane and Harblu out of the fight. And look at how far back this has pushed Ezire. He's trying to fight his way out of the hole here, but he doesn't have those meaty frontliners to actually make room. And in fact, the payload simply going to be pushed directly into second.
Not going to catch him on the respawn too. Buds is looking for his blade, and he's going to have it up now and available. Looks like everyone has transition out of the spawning room though, so they should be fine to regroup back up. But there's a lot of ultimates ready to go. Even McGravy's going to have a self-destruct soon. There's no support ultimates up at all, or even anytime soon for Kungarna. This is going to be so difficult for them to defend with. They have to hope that someone makes a mistake on Envision.
Well, that someone that they have to hope makes a mistake is likely Buds, where this is a dream scenario for a Genji. Pulse Bomb comes in on the Diva. Will it result in a DMX? Not quite. Nope, there it is. And now here comes Buds. Blade out, looking for targets. Into the back. Doesn't really have the greatest targets, but it doesn't matter because it's the tank frontline and Jaru that were able to deal the damage. So Blade, not really required. A clean fight for Envision. And Jason, they're one fight away from taking this round with quite a bit of time left.
Yeah, you don't need to have a good blade there either if you have damage come out like they just did. They only invested the blade and this Transcendence, and they're going to have a sound barrier soon for this next fight as long as fire doesn't get bursted down. The payload just a couple meters off from finishing here, and Ice Shiny trying to push up the right-hand side, trying to catch out Harblu, trying to go for the Desu yet again, where Harblu's been Desu the last 3 fights in a row.
Well, the self-destruct out from Harblu doesn't get much of anything. McGravy, though, going to get caught out early in the fight. Transcendence being invested by Haku. Kungarna cannot yield at this juncture, and they're not. Off of the early pickoffs, they're able to maintain momentum and solidify. So it's going to be a full reset here for the offense. And one thing here, Jason, is that Kungarna has lost well. Despite it being against them most of the game, there's still only a minute left for Envision to finish this out.
I just like that. They lost well. I mean, I understand what you mean. It's just a funny phrase to hear. It's like they weren't playing to win, but they weren't playing to win, but they're playing to not lose. Well, another saying that I heard from a friend of mine. But yeah, the attack got reset. Now they're coming with the Pulse Bomb on a Jaru. They're gonna have a Transcendence and Ice Shiny with the Primal Rage. The Pulse Bomb will land, and it'll be enough to finish off Shane. And there's the Transcendence coming in to help force the attack.
Shane's gone immediately. Ice Shiny into the back. Primal Rage ready. Gonna have to pop it soon. Under heavy fire. 100 HP. He's riding the line right now, and he's gonna drop the Primal Rage just in time. Doesn't get killed early now, and just trying to block the doorway, but gets gunned down in the process. The defense still very much in this. Look at how deep Shane is here.
No, he died in the beginning of the fight, and then he just respawned back in, jumping, trying to force them off the payload. And he did just that, so we need to see like a big wombo combo for Envision to finish this off. They will obviously have the overtime mechanic to work with, where the respawns will come in a little bit later for Kungarna. Be a little bit more time in between each of those, but they have to get kills for that to happen.
They have to kill Haku. Their winning condition here, kill Haku early on. Bud's working on it. Blade almost up. Haku at 96%, 97%. Can you get Haku before the Transcendence? No. Transcendence coming right out. Here comes the rest of the defense. They follow Haku, who's leading the way. Both teams, though, still 6v6. Transcendence about to fade. The offense reinforcing with the sound barrier. 5 on 5. And with Jaro getting that pulse bomb, the offense of Envision might just be able to push us through yet, and they do.
Harbu was remeching, so he couldn't contest the payload. They should have been able to throw that into overtime a little bit longer. But well done. I mean, Envision, they finished. It's not as pretty as they'd hoped to, considering how clean their second phase was. But they do finish nonetheless, and that's like the big aspect for them. Especially with how many 3-0s we've had today. Well, with every match being 3-0, that's the start they need to have happen.
We've definitely seen different styles today. We've seen different strengths of teams, but it would be nice to sort of end out part of the day on a longer match. Of course, we still have one set coming in after this. This is not the final match by any means. The winner of this will be getting their pizza delivered. And it's going to be a chicken ranch pizza, or so the stories go. So
let me ask you, cheese in the crust on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Damn right. Damn right. And I was just... Go ahead.
It's cheese. You can't fail by adding more cheese to things. In fact, you actually win by figuring out more areas to put cheese into.
It's true. I had this like really good pizza once. It was like they had like garlic. Like, you ever had a garlic knot?
I have.
So it's like it was basically a crust made of garlic knots. It was freaking fantastic. But anyways, with gravy, that name got me hungry as well, even though I don't like gravy. Transitioning pretty well to the diva role. Harblue, I feel like as a player, he's always gonna have that like that stigma of being a Roadhog and a Roadhog only player. And it's definitely like up to him to disprove people, because he's been, I mean, I could be completely wrong here, but I feel like he's been really quiet in the pro scene for quite a long time now.
He's been gone for a while. I think the last I heard of Harblue really being active in the pro scene was he got fairly deep into the World Cup USA tryouts. Like, I think he was one of the final people in consideration before Cool Matt ended up getting the position.
Do you want me to answer that? Or do you want to just... I can answer
I
that
mean,
for
I mean, you are in on that, so you can... That's right. You can give a definitive answer one way or another.
No. He didn't make it far.
All right. Well, he didn't even make it far.
Farther than some other people, I'll say that.
Okay, so he made it somewhat far. Now I just feel like we're nitpicking, but now we move forward.
He made it farther than Calvin.
All right. This is the secret info you didn't expect to get on the stream, but the gossip you clearly wanted. Kungarna, though, moving forward, setting up their offense. Not a clear area to engage in just yet. They're fairly split. It's going to have to be Shane leading the way for Izire and Harblue. And now you see them grouping up again. Tank cooldowns, back on track, and the cafe is going to be the target. Shane leaps to the cafe and then leaps back onto the point, or transitions to the point.
He baited
and it's popping through.
He baited the counter dive out of Ice Shiny, then dropped back on him points, so the jump didn't matter. They tried to fake this going towards the high ground to make him drop the shield as well. It was actually really well done, and it seems to be cleaning house. They already got quite a few kills through with the D-suit. I feel like I need to talk Harblue up now, because I feel really bad for saying what I just did, I guess. Even though it's what happened, but I feel like now I'm a dick. But either way, Harblue gets gets in the suit back again, and they're able to shove them off on their first attack.
Envision right now just going to be looking at backing up to a degree, and nope, Bud's moving back out. Has attack visor at the ready. They're gonna go for it here, but they're running right into the maw of the sound barrier. They can't really aggress too much into that. Now the sound barrier's a little bit gone. Buds uses attack visor, but it's rough sailing. Still able to find Haku in the back, so the attack visor is not for naught, and Envision might actually be bringing this back.
Really surprising that they're able to, actually, considering how one-sided that initial fight was. I guess they picked up enough kills on the side of Kungarna to really make the comeback be possible. 2 minutes left, and 87% was taken on the point, obviously going back down to 66 now, but they have a Blade for Izire. They have a Pulse Bomb coming up. They have the Primal Rage. They have a lot of the tools in their kit that they need to take this point.
Well, Izire does have very good blades. It's something that was very notable the first time I saw him, so we'll see if he's able to live up to that reputation. Blade out through the cafe. finds one, looks for more. Moira in the back, sliced down as well. Both supports down to the blade of Ezire, and it works out. No caster curse this time.
Blades out for Ezire there, getting quite a big couple of kills. Exactly what they needed to close one out. Fire switching back to Lucio, though, after he did lose his life on the Moira. And now 4 minutes left to go, so pretty much the exact same amount of time for both teams pushing into the second point. Shane still has that Primal Rage, and Harblu still has that self-destruct to throw in.
Kungarna looking to keep up with the momentum that they just bought, and this is where it would be a great opportunity for Harblu to come out big here, where you have the high ground, you have decent vantage points as D.Va. This is where you can trap a team with a very good self-destruct, either by outright killing them or pushing them into your team. So watching how Harb handles this is important, and right now, just defending high ground, pushing away McGravy, and Kungarna, while they're fighting the high ground battle there, Jason, they're pushing the payload in the back, but that might be coming to an end as Envision is firmly on the assault.
Completely off topic, I have to correct myself. Harblu actually did make it to the final call of the tryouts. I totally just remembered, because we did last interviews with all the players. My bad, he totally did make it over there.
How is my information more accurate when I was even on the committee?
Bro, it was so long ago.
All right, you know what? We're going to discuss that later, but Harblu, self-destruct on the payload, drops it. Doesn't get A1, but does zone things out. Jaro, though, is being a threat in the backline. Already got Haku, still in and around, setting things up. Looking for Lucio now. Jur under assault. Nowhere really to go for him, but the Helix rocket from downtown. Going to be taking him out, and Envision gets to re-solidify.
Didn't know Helix rockets were homie now. When was that patch? That was a pretty good shot in the fire. Sorry, on to Jur. So now going back to the defense here, this like kind of catch them off guard. The double hit scans working well. Bud's trying to get on the high ground, the elevator, the RNG evader, whatever you want to call it. It's gonna work out for him as he's gonna be able to get up here as well with the help of a Zen and a Lucio. So he's a lot of protection. Really hard to dive in if you're Ezire. Ezire's gonna have the blade most importantly.
All right, Ezire holding up to the blade. The first blade he had was very good. We'll see if he can bottle that up once more. Gonna have to do it without the aid of Zenyatta. Crimzo taking out the other Zen, and Zen versus Zen as Ezire moves to the back and is just gunned down by Buds, who has attack visor up yet again. That's one way of stopping a blade before it even happens.
A couple of big ultimates used though. I mean, they used the trance when there was no blade out for Ezire, so I think they'll be happy with that. Kungarna gonna go into the next fight with the trance, with the sound barrier, with a blade. As long as they can close the gap. Look at Ice Shiny actually. Look where he is currently.
Where is Ice Shiny?
That's an interesting place. I didn't know you can go up there.
Yeah, he's just holding on here, waiting to slide his way down. Not sliding into DMs, just sliding his way into a team fight.
Slide into a can of peanut butter. Or a nice bottle of Soylent.
Hey, bottle of Soylent, that we don't want to make Winston overpowered, but Winston's Ice Shiny gonna dive in. Goomba stomps Haku, but gives up his life in the process. But still, not a bad engage. McGravy, D.Va versus Genji here on top. Self-destruct on deck. And he's gonna use it just to get the mech back, but I think he could have saved that one there, given what Buds did to the backline.
I mean, considering Bud's been practicing projectile and playing projectile, his soldier's still pretty damn good, to be honest. Again, we still see Kungarna with all the tools they need to push in this next successful attack. They just haven't been able to set up yet. Harblu switching over to Orisa just to get his mech back for D.Va. So this is all of his ult percent there. But they have the blade. But there's a sound barrier, and Crimso's almost back up to the Transcendence.
Well, this is where all the pressure is on Ezire. Here comes the barrier. You gotta think the blade is coming in just a moment, and no, Ezire goes, I don't want to blade into this, so he's not gonna have that barrier blade synergy. Takes out Ice Shiny anyways, dives to the back, and oh, immediately plowed by McGravy as if he was farm soil. No value off that blade for Ezire. Suddenly, Vision's looking good.
Keep it PG, man. So the blade was used. Bud's coming back in the tactical visors. Crimso as well with the Transcendence. Able to help keep Buds alive as he tries to do as much damage, but Haku's there with his own Transcendence, and there's the sound barrier to follow up for fire. 5 seconds left to go. This push has to work for Kungarna.
And for Envision, doesn't really matter. They're maintaining control on the payload. Kungarna not with many tools left to make this work at all. Jesus, one of the last people up, but he's going to fall, and that's going to be Envision. Looking good here on Hollywood. They take map number 1.
Let me ask you a question, ZP. Do you think Winston should do more damage based off of the height of his jump or how far he falls in his jump?
Sure, why not?
Like if you hit like maximum height jump, like hitting the skybox on the map, you do like 400 damage if you land on the target.
Only if the center of the Winston model directly connects with their head.
Exactly.
And you need to play some sort of sound that makes you think Mario, but will not make you think Mario to the degree that Blizzard would get sued. Yes. Like, there's a line there. You could definitely make people go, that sounds like Mario, but needs to be in the realm where a lawyer can argue reasonably that it's not.
I mean, come on. There was the Hanzo skin that looks exactly like the one from Metal Gear Rising. I don't know if you ever played that game.
I did not play the game, but I just imagine...
I know Hex never would have played it because it's way too weep for him, but...
Yeah, Hex really does not like anything anime related, but this is where, in Hex's defense, if he was here, he would call me out on my pathetic lack of movie knowledge, and we would hit some middle ground.
I feel like Hex is a like 80-year-old senior citizen in like a 35-year-old man's body. I actually don't know how old he is. I'm just guessing. Well, I mean, he looks like he's about 35. Because he quotes movies like, back in my day, I remember when Casablanca came out. That's my Hex impression. It's not very good, clearly.
I don't think he has like the southern accent you were going for there for. Like that,
yeah, probably not, no.
I don't understand where that came from. That Hex is very Midwest.
There wasn't enough self-hatred in how I was saying that either.
All right, so that is map number 1 in the can. Map number 2 should be here in just a moment.
Tower. That's what we're going to next.
Lijiang Tower. All right. I forgot. I can
sub. Go ahead. Sorry.
So he's subbing out. Jared is subbing out for Izar. Well, Izar is just playing. So you mean Izar is subbing out from the sounds of it?
I think they're subbing Izar out for someone. Wait, what?
Or not.
Wait, what? Okay, there we go. Jesus. And wait, what?
Wait, no, we're still in lobby. Okay, now I'm just sad.
Oh, Apply's coming in for Izar.
Okay. I know we're in different local chats, but I know that local chat has been a real problem in past in the Beat Invitational. But someone just said in local chat, quote, "My turtle just died yesterday." That makes me feel sad. Like, come on, guys.
That's what feels bad, man.
Yeah. Superfly, we're sending all the good wishes to you, turtle. I like turtles.
Go in general chat and be like, "I'm sorry, bro."
I would, but it's too late. We've already entered game. Actually, now I'm just thinking of the 80s, or like late 80s, early 90s, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The good old days, before Michael Bay got his hands on the franchise.
When you say TMNT, I just think of the NES TMNT game and how much that game would piss me off when I was younger.
That game is not well coded.
No, but Turtles in Time was probably one of the greatest arcade games ever made.
There's no doubt about it. Which is why it's had a million different versions.
Have you ever played the Simpsons arcade game?
Yes.
Epic. And then there's an X-Men one as well. I can't remember.
The X-Men one was 6 players, dude. It had 6 players depending on the arcade you went to. And that's where Magneto had the best dubbed lines of all time. Like, "You will die." No, hang on. I'm not even doing it justice because we're misremembering it. I've actually just ruined myself. We're going to change subjects.
No, I got chills when he said it. Don't worry.
He said, "Oh, it was X-Men. Welcome to die." There you go.
Welcome to die. Yep.
Well, speaking of Welcome to Die, we're on Lijiang Tower. It's the Garden Stage, Jason. We got Farrah Mercy on one side and a team on the other side, which is not indulging in Farrah Mercy. Envision's going to play this on the ground.
Round 1. Capture.
All right, well, Apply, like I said on the Farrah, Buds, though. Like, he's going to be on hit scan here. He's already been having a good game on it so far. I wonder how... Well, actually, I wonder what Apply is going to play if we get to a map without a Farrah being picked up here. Jaro, though, already able to take down Shane. He gets maybe a little bit too aggressive for his own good. Gotta give credit to Crimsa, though, to keep these Discord orbs on the right targets. And already, they're going to be backing away here for Kungarna.
One benefit Envision had there, too, is that they were all together as a unit. And the Farrah for Kungarna was really far back in Apply. So there was a moment there where there's just way more pressure coming out for Envision. Still, Kungarna diving in once more. It's a little bit haphazard. They're definitely losing the poke war. Harble and Chain having the back out, and it leads to an opportunity for McGravy to just chase down and take down Chain.
Yeah, so this is the problem I was talking about actually in one of our earlier games when it comes to like air battle versus ground battle. Like, a Lucio, played by Jerry here, will not be able to out-heal the damage being done to Shane. There's just no way. And Haku needs to stick to Apply because Bud's applying pressure to him. So you have to like switch up your healing, which they've actually done just that, thank God. Haku switch over to a Zenyatta and Apply on Genji. So they're going to be able to deal with the ground damage a lot better now.
Meanwhile, Jaru Pulse Bomb at the ready. Not really aggressively searching for the early Pulse Bombs to get the fight in his favor. Instead, just looking for tanks. Immediately mows over Shane as he comes over. And now, even while he's focusing attention to Harblu, doesn't have to chase us down here, Jason, because you just see the retreat coming in from Kungarna.
And I'm not trying to put any blame on Shane, but he's died as the first target in like the last 3 fights, I think, over the majority of this entire map, if I'm not mistaken. And that just shows like the amount of damage and how much they just don't care for Envision of who they kill. They just want to kill the closest target to them, and that's been Shane every time.
Soundbarrier in from Kungarna. This is a fight they must win. They open up the barrier, but they lose Haku immediately. Jaru doesn't really care about the beat, cuts through it anyways. And now Envision already working at an edge. Jaru being a huge distraction into the back. And that's going to be it. It's going to be a one-team fight for Envision. And Kungarna down to its final attempt.
They need to stall this out. They need to apply a chance to build up his blade, because Crimzo has no transcendence anymore. Like, this is their opportunity. Apply a blade and let him use it. Get that speed on him so he can catch up to the right targets and finish them off. That could be the big turning point here. We've already seen a 99-0 go in favor of the other team as well.
Very possible to bring it back. Eyeshiny, 300 HP, drops the Primal Rage to the back, being target number 1, looking for the knockoffs. 50 HP, did he get out? Eyeshiny actually got out, so the distraction working out. Here comes the barrier, though, and Apply, holding on to the blade, goes to the back, looking for Zen, grabs Zen, but gives up his life for it. Kungarna, though, still making a decent go of this despite being wounded. Relatively even between both teams.
Gravy has self-destruct, so you can easily get back into Sue's gonna throw it directly on top of points. Might catch on to someone. He does. He catches Harblu for a potential resuit back off. The pulse bomb coming in as well here to Jaru, as Jesus is finally able to take him down. But they're still contesting. They're still holding on. They don't have the man advantage. Actually, have the man deficit here. But there comes Bud's attack visor.
Bud's attack visor coming back into the fight. Envision still in control of this point. Attack visor runs out right when he was about to see Jesus, not able to finish him off. And here comes the barrier out from Kungarna. They've regrouped. They have numbers back on the point, and it's actually almost reset here as Eyeshiny and Shane, both in deep trouble, both going to fall. Both Winston's out of the fight. Meanwhile, Harblu much more damage than McGravy here. McGravy was able to deep dive in the Haku, made it work out. Harblu under pressure, 40 HP, can't maintain on the point, and that is going to be the first point here going the way of Envision.
Yeah, again, just like the target focus out of Envision has been stellar. Constantly focused on Shane whenever he jumps in. If Harblu ever goes in first, he's going to die as well. So I don't know if it's Shane going too deep or if it's Harblu not sticking close enough to Shane to give him that defense matrix to help him survive. Because keep in mind, what's the damage he's up against? Hit scan out of Jaru, hit scan out of Buds, hit scan, technically projectile out of Crimzo, projectile, hit scan, whatever, out of fire. Like, it's all going to be bullet damage that you can block with defense matrix. So I haven't been able to spot Harblu yet in terms of like keeping Shane alive, if that's been happening or not happening. But that is one way to facilitate Shane being blown up every time.
I don't think, it's a case here where I'm reserving judgment because it's been a long time since I've seen him on D.Va, but I'm still not convinced that D.Va is really Harblu's comfort zone, where he's doing okay on it, but we're in an era of D.Vas just being absolutely astounding. So we'll see where it goes.
Wasn't there an era of D.Va being absolutely outstanding? I can't remember a time.
It was early Overwatch. Overwatch. There was a point where she was not played. She required several buffs. Self-destruct used to be 4 seconds. But here comes the engage here from Kungarna. They seized an opportunity to dive in, but might have been too aggressive. Shane ends up dying before he gets his man. And now it's going to be up to Harblu to shoulder the burden here. To keep the tank pressure up as Apply is in the skies, but it's just not going to be enough. He's taken down, and Kungarna, they need to get on the point, but they should have more numbers here to actually win this. But no, they don't get onto the point. And they're still at a disadvantage right now versus Envision.
I think actually one thing that Envision's been doing really well is kind of displacing Shane and Harblu, not allowing them to work together by like kind of distracting Harblu and pulling Shane at the same time. Because Harblu wasn't there for the last time Shane did die, but they're on the point. They have 3-4 people there. We got Apply in the air on the far, still doing some really good work, but Bud's now trying to come in with the turnaround.
Apply off the barrage, gets both Eyeshiny and Crimzo, picks up Jaro for a cool third, and Kungarna striking right back. Going to get their first control here of the map. And losing control here on Night Market can be pretty dangerous, just in the sense of the options a defense has to make it rough on coming back in, particularly if you're running the Pharah.
Yeah, exactly. This is only the second time we've been able to see it today because most Pharahs have been losing the defensive hold. But Apply and Haku sitting very far back, so Haku, who's been focused on a lot within Lijiang Tower and with Hollywood, will have a lot more protection, a lot more safety here with Apply off to the side. But that means Shane's a lot squishier without having another dedicated healer. And again, he goes down.
He had a barrier on him too. It didn't really matter. Jaru just cleaved right on through. 2 first kills going the way of Envision. Apply, he's been laying in rockets from the side, but just hasn't really seemed to do much. Now, though, he has Zenyatta sight. It's a perfect angle for it. Can't finish off the kill, and this is going to be the point flipping right back the way of Envision.
Oh, they want the kill on Najir. He's so low in HP. He's so low, but he's able to stay alive, it looks like. You gotta be careful, Jaru. You don't want to get too aggressive here. Eventually, will recall and get back out. But they've now got an attacking Pharah, but they got attack riser for Buds, have self-destruct, so you can dismantle this air combo if you just throw it off to this left-hand side, which is where they're coming from. And then you have iShiny, who can try to distract you with his own primal rage, so you don't want to fight on the outskirts of the point.
Apply hitting some very nice rockets on the intro here. Bud's gonna fall in part because of the pressure that was moving in. Apply now has to get out. Self-destruct gonna hit him, and no, just barely able to get away. However, while that's going on, iShiny has decimated the tank line. There's no more tanks to really support Apply here, and he's just gonna get mowed right on over. As we see, it's going to be Envision maintaining control.
And Harblue again trying to escape her pulse bomb, even being invested to get the kill on Najir, so that's going to buy them another 10 seconds of time, take them up to about 85-90%. This is the last and final attack coming out of Kungarna here onto our second map. This could be a 2-0 lead for Envision at this rate if they can't do something about it. Luckily though, Shane, he has a primal rage, so they have the longevity to touch the point and hopefully for his sake stay alive this time, unless he can be bursted down yet again.
What they need here, they need to focus on McGravy, get him out of the Diva mech, and open up Apply to land this barrage. You can't really easily land the barrage as long as there's a Diva still in and around, at least if she still has Matrix. Apply, working for his way in, trying not to expose himself too much. Shane has already invested the primal rage, so he's got to go soon. In over the top, barrage from the back, catches Diva off guard, chunks most of her HP. And Apply just barely able to get out, so he's gonna stay alive despite the pressure, but he didn't get as much done with the barrage as he would have hoped. Envision still dominating on the point. Jer and Jesus out of the fight. Jer brought back up, but the flow of the fight in Envision's favor. Jaru on the flank, just too much damage, and Envision on their way to taking map number 2.
I think they're going to do it here. Shane's going to die another time as Buds has attack visor, and they've been able to pull off a 2-0 victory here. Just want to point out one thing, ZP, and again, I'm not trying to harp on him at all. It's more about how well Envision is target focusing. Shane had Primal Rage popped on point, and he was still the first one to die. Out of all the other targets they could have went for, they still focused him and killed him right away. That just shows how good Envision is being at killing the target that they're calling out.
And the reason why they're getting away with that too is, if you stop and think about it, is that in an ideal world, from a strategy perspective, if a team is going to focus heavily on a tank, you're going to have other people diving at the same time to punish them for putting so much damage into your tank. What we're seeing from the Kungarna side is that they're not really supporting Shane's dives as they should be. So instead of it being a case where, okay, Shane is dead, but we took out 2 people in the process and this is good, it's more just Shane is dead. That's a problem.
Yeah, so there's like 2 problems that I see besides that one is, A, you're running a Lucio and a Mercy. So Lucio has no way of keeping a Winston alive, especially when you don't have the defense matrix there or you don't have his shield up to keep him alive. So it's hard to out-heal the damage being done to him. And the second is the amount of damage that Envision are doing to him and him in particular, punishing him for overextending just a sliver is ridiculous. Like, they're investing cooldowns into this as well. Not necessarily ultimates, but like you're seeing Helix rockets go off, you're seeing like everything they possibly can, the micro missiles out of Diva, just to kill him, because they know once they finish him off, there's nothing else that's really going to stop them from Snowblood. And they're running the Zenyatta and the Lucio themselves, so they have the ability to heal everyone up if they do get a little bit too low. They also have the Discord Orb to make it possible to kill Shane. So Kungarna need to switch something up, because what's happening with this is just not working.
The other thing that Kungarna can do here too is that I think Shane is committing to these fights very heavily, expecting backup, is that to a degree you can sort of game it, right? You know that you're going to be getting that level of focus on you from Shane. So Shane should almost be in retreat mode as he moves forward if he's going to be getting this degree of focus on him, where he could still get out of the fight. People can perhaps overdive him trying to complete the kill. Just something different than the dynamic we're seeing here, where you're just running into Envision's tank focusing like a meat grinder. And in terms of who's actually grinding the meat, big part has been Jaru, where anytime Jaru has been on the field as Tracer, he has been crushing tanks on the other side. And Jaru, to me, has been sort of the raid boss to defeat throughout the course of this.
And at the same note of like, look at the composition that Kungarna was using, they had Apply on Pharah, so that means you're looking for him to do some chip damage, and then you engage, then you fight, then your Winston D.Va and Tracer jump on one target and kill them. But I feel like Apply, like when they had the point, he was sitting behind them, like behind his own team, so he wasn't like kind of sneaking from the side trying to like hit a couple of rockets into the courtyard. He was attacking from a harder angle, meaning that the chance of them getting someone low is a lot more difficult, especially when it's tanks in the front line soaking up the damage, and there's also a D.Va there. You know, so you're not attacking from different angles, and you don't have the chance to get someone low to force that fight. I don't know, you can break that down in so many different ways. It's just the problem is Shane's dying too quickly, and they need to change something up to prevent that from happening.
Well, one thing that's worth noting here is that even though you've seen Pharahs more sort of poke on the outsides, the mark of the best Pharahs in the game, when we've seen Pharahs really take over a game, is that they know when to dive in deep with the rest of their team and make things work really well. And you never really saw that Winston Pharah sort of coordination that you have seen from other teams in the past. But Jason, we're here on Kings Row. It's dark, it's dreary, and we have a Soldier 76 in the back with Jaru, and this is a pretty standard Kings Row defense.
Yeah, it's looking good. We're not seeing the triple tank that we've had happen today. We're not seeing the D.Va here, most importantly. But we are seeing the Junkrat, which is like kind of like an obvious choice on Kings Row defense. And then the Jaru and the Soldier, I'm curious where he's going to be playing from. It's the Ana that kind of throws things off a little bit for me. I like Ana to heal the Gravy on Zarya. I feel like Ana-Zarya synergy is really good. But then again, you also allow the Nano Visor for Jaru if you can get those ultimates up.
Well, the other thing too, Ana, to the degree that she hasn't even played that much recently, can also throw people off by going, oh, right, Ana's a thing. And Crimzo has good positioning here in the back. It's going to force a very extended dive to actually deal with her. But maintaining positioning and form is going to be important for Envision here as this goes up. Bio grenade to the back, gets Jar. That was awesome by Crimzo. What a support pickoff off the nade. And Jaro's more than willing to clean things up in return.
Yeah, so that's the start they were definitely looking for this time. Out of Envision here. I agree about the auto pick. It's like people forget how to play against certain heroes when they don't see it played too often. I mean, everyone's used to the Mercy and the Zen, or the Mercy and the Lucio, and they forget how strong Ana can be, especially with the anti-healing. And you look on the side of like Harblue and Co. All they really have is a Zarya to prevent that.
Bud's hiding for the tire, and it's a big one! Takes down both supports and his counterpart. He was just under the statue, biding his time, waited for the go-ahead, and that's one quick way of ending a fight. And to your points about Ana, Jason, it's always easy to forget about crazy healing grandma.
Hey, she makes cookies, so it's all right.
We have no evidence she's actually crazy. She actually might be the most sensible grandma you ever knew.
I mean, she's like 87 years old and she's still fighting in a war. That's pretty crazy to me. Or pretty badass, depends on how you look at it. Shiny try to hold the front line with the Ryan v Ryan battles up against Shane. They have the D.Va advantage though, so it's really hard for Ice Shiny to build up Earth Shatters as quickly as Shane potentially can. But they have the Coalescence, and it's going to be the Graviton coming in out of both teams.
Both teams' grabs are in, but Envision getting more out of it. Jaru, uncontested on the top still. The world is his shooting ground. However, Ice Shiny has fallen, so the offense still making some moves here. Soundbear could be in from the defense, but didn't really hit too many people. The defense very split. Jaru has the D.Va in his face, but actually gotta get the D.Va out of the face, uses the health station to win the fight. Meanwhile, Ezire, late tire, moving its way in, looking to put this over the top, and finds Crimzo in the back. This has been a slugfest here, Jason, but now the offense of Kungarna is starting to make some inroads.
And Jaru still has attack bias. If you just get this D-suit onto it's not even Harblue, it's Jesus. If he can somehow get it, which you won't be able to, Jesus is able to chase him down. They might have been able to turn the tide there, but instead, saving it into the next fight. Going to regroup here, which take a little bit of time, so not going to get that archway defense. But they're going to get the fight they want. Actually, if you did notice as well, when we had the double grabs go off, the Gravy got nano boosted, and he built up like another 50% towards his next grab off the back of that.
And that's one of the all-time great uses of a nano boost, where you throw it on your Zarya and you get that game-changing ultimate and grab that much quicker. So this could be very helpful for Envision stabilizing after losing first. Now, Budge just got picked off, so they don't really want to go too ham here. They're going to want to back up a bit, give it some time, let the respawns come in, especially as Crimson and Fire, we're so close to getting picked off. But it's Jaru off the flank, the attack visor catches Jesus off guard, and this is gonna make some room for Envision when they need it most.
Yeah, they can be able to shut it back. They should be able to hold on. Shiny's getting really close to another Shatter too. And Gravy has another Graviton Surge already, about 20% ahead of Harblue. And they're gonna have a Tire out of Buds to pair it up with. So this could be deadly as long. Or just look for McGravy to hit a grab. It's gonna be followed up by a Tire, almost guaranteed. There's no sound barrier to stop this.
This is where McGravy, we'll see how he sets us up. You can be sneaky, you can go straight up the front. Harblue also has a grab of his own, and oh, Diva slept. You don't have to worry about the eat. This is free pickings right now for McGravy, and the Tire just gets them in the back. He actually gets the hold to the grab.
Yeah, so how do you kill? I don't even know how you get two people like that. There was a shield there in front. They could have killed it before it came in. I'm not sure. Maybe this was sleeping, but either way, yeah, they hold the grab very smartly. They have a nano boost as well, so they can charge up another grab or get close to charge up another grab off the back of that. The Gravy's at 90 charge too, so this is almost a guaranteed another Graviton Surge if they do this correctly.
Grav versus Grav right now. Harblue versus McGravy. A tale of two Russians meddling with gravity technology. And Harblue gonna land the first Graviton there. Oh. And what a Tire fall through. That's a big bang with a little bit of roadkill on the side. Ezire making his way through. 5 kills set up by Harblue. Bounce yourself to victory, Harblue. You deserve it.
Okay, so it's not the fight's not over just yet for Kungarna. They're not going to get the next checkpoint until another contest is going to come in from Envision. They have to be very careful. They have a Shatter. If they don't hit the Shatter or a good self-destruct in the back lines, I still feel like Envision can win this fight because they have a Nano Boost and they have a Graviton here.
I think you're absolutely right. Here comes McGravy looking for the grab. They Nano Boost onto iShiny. iShiny's supposed to be here to follow up the grab, and the grab wasn't eaten. Yes, the Graviton was eaten. It doesn't hit the mark. iShiny jumping the gun. And Envision now perhaps in a world of trouble. They compensate. They invest more ultimates. They use the sound barrier, but Bud's taken down. Jaru has a visor, but nowhere to go with it as his team is just getting murdered in front of him.
There you go, Jesus coming up big. Making up for our sins, I guess, or making up for the sins of maybe some misplays in the last maps as he eats that Graviton. That almost certainly would have spelled defeat for them. Now they have 2.5 minutes to work for towards this third point. They still have a lot of work to do, but it's more possible now, ZP.
From carpenter to vacuum cleaner salesman in the modern age, sometimes you just gotta adapt to the changing times. But Jesus going to have the self-destruct up for this next fight. This is one of the better areas to land a good self-destruct depending on how the defense is set up. And Ezire has a Tire to follow through anything or just simply disrupt. Attack visor up from Jaru, and that's going to trigger the self-destruct. That's just making room, and it even gets Buds. I don't know how Buds got caught by that, but here comes Kungarna.
Not sure how that self-destruct actually catches on to Buds, but either way, that's the cards they were dealt. They have to deal with this. They have a Tire for Buds. If they can hold on a little bit longer, Hawk is going to have a Coalescence, and he's going to use it right away, as McGravy's going to be Nano Boosted to try to charge straight through. He has very high energy, and he's sort of 80% for his Graviton, trying to make up for last times, and a greater Shutter comes in, connects onto 3.
iShiny setting the stage. Buds and Jar are there for the cleanup. iShiny might have fallen, but the damage was done. Envision able to resettle themselves with 1:30 left to go. And Jason, once more, it might be a tale of two Gravitons.
It was the worst of times. It was the worst of grabs. It was the best of grabs. Let's see if he can hit it, though. We've seen Jesus be very on point, not only with eating Gravitons, but dealing with Jaru on the Soldier.
Ezire bowling for Gravitons. Takes down 2 after the Graviton setup. Buds takes down Ezire and not a whole lot else. And this is looking very good right now for the offense from Kungarna. They win the battle of grabs. Of course, they were the only ones who threw in a grab. McGravy will have a grab in the next fight. But now, there's a lot more pressure on him here because it's not the easiest way to set up a good grab. And Jaru is going to find it troublesome to get a good attack visor follow through as well.
We've got Buds on Widowmaker. They gotta be very careful with Shane's Earthshot. He can go very big here for Kungarna if he can hit quite a few people. If he can catch McGravy with it and kill him before the Graviton goes off, it would be huge. But you can see he's looking for an avenue. Shiny's being very careful with these shield mind games that are going on between the two Reinhardts. Hey, he knocks him to the side. He can hit Earthshatter, but he gets bio-grenaded and he dies.
Shane out of the fight, sniped out by Buds. Jaru in hot pursuit has one, looking for more. Everyone running to Jaru and his magnified vision right here. Gonna take down Jur, and by the way, his tech visor was gone. That was just normal aim at the end. My goodness.
Look at Buds. He actually got double killed there. I think he got a headshot to Shane when he dropped the shield at one of those points in those Rhine v Rhine battle, and that causing it so low. There's the Graviton in terms of backhand side. He's gonna catch out Haku and Harblue, but McGravy doesn't have the damage to follow up, but then Harblue's gonna pay, or sorry, McGravy's gonna pay the price.
Oh, they're still able to get to that point. They did the graviton that far out because they didn't want them to hit the point again. But by perhaps a mistake from McGravy, the defense thought they were ending it, and they've done anything but. The offense reinvigorated. This could be an overtime push through here, Jason, as Harblu with the laser, roasting and toasting here on the point. A little bit of a self-destruct for good measure. And suddenly, it's Envision who find themselves on the hot seat here as a newly revitalized Kungarna looks to push this one right on through.
Oh, I was going to say, we get to see Jaru, one of the only people to play Doomfist North America during Contender Season 1, playing Doomfist, but that was, it didn't last that long. But that will be Kungarna completing the map. It's actually really nice play by Harblu too. When Izar used that tire to finish off Ice Shiny, Harblu shielded him because they knew he would get focused down, and he actually did get focused, but the shield was enough to prevent him from dying. It's really kind of good game awareness on Harblu there.
So, right now, Kungarna fighting for their lives right now, fighting to show that they are going to be a top team into the future, despite all the roster changes, despite the lack of being able to demoralize an opponent with Michael just laying down the smack talk at all ends. Should be interesting.
Wait, is he? Is there smack talk?
No, I'm saying Michael used to lay down the smack talk. Kungarna doesn't have that.
That's not the Michael I know about. I don't know what you're talking about. That never happened. You have no
oh,
proof.
You're right. Michael's an angel. I'm wrong. I don't know what got into me.
It's probably your hunger, man. You should probably eat a Snickers or have a delicious Soylent to help crave that hunger.
I'm gonna go on my AMD PC right now and order a brand new case of Soylent, and I'm typing that in on my SteelSeries keyboard.
Oh, well, you can also probably check out Twitch. If you go to our own channel here that we're casting on, the Beat Esports, if you scroll down below the video feed, you can actually see, funny enough, a 50% off coupon for ordering Soylent, valid in the USA only.
And you know what that means? If you get 50% off Soylent, you can order double the amount of Soylent for the same price.
Exactly.
Quick
order
maths, guys.
ZP pizza.
Yeah, or order me a pizza. Look, I'm not picky.
just get pizza with everything. Literally everything.
Everything. Including stuff that you shouldn't put on pizza that might actually kill me. But speaking of getting kills, let's take a look at the defense as it sets up here, Jason. Kungarna, not really changing up too much here, but they are going to be putting Jesus on the McCree.
I really like D.Va, like, on first point as well. I really like the triple tank setup with, like, the D.Va, Zarya, and Reinhardt. Because I feel like D.Va just facilitates the team so well. It helps prevent the other Reinhardt from building up an Earth Shatter. It helps make your Reinhardt survive and a Shield survive. We can already see both of them swing away. Shane at 36%, but again, gets bursted down in time, and that was such a one-sided fight.
That was just a very nice engage by the tanks of Envision, backed up by all sorts of damage coming in from Buds. And they're just not stopping. You would think they would have stopped, but no, they're moving forward. They want Jur dead or alive, but generally dead. But they might have gone a little bit too far deep here, Jason.
Or half alive, if not dead. I mean, they lost McGravy there, but he's not going to carry because he gets his suit, he gets his mech back. They're going to lose the chance to push through Archway, but they lost it already because of how quickly they wiped out Kungarna anyway. So it's not like that one death was really going to change things, but they do have a big ult advantage here. Hawk is switching over to Moira at 8% on his Coalescent. Jaru only at 50%, but look at this, like, look at the ability to be flexible within the team. Now Jaru is playing the Zarya instead of McGravy, and McGravy's on the D.Va.
Coalescence going to come out immediately here from Crimzo, moving in, cleaving through most of the backline. It's very nice. Coalescence led the way for iShine to dive in, getting healed as the damage is being done. And Envision, they're just going to town here, moving forward, pushing Kungarna back. And Kungarna is going to have to put all their hopes and dreams on the next defense here on second. And again, Harblu's got to be the star to set up the tire for Izar. And he's already on a secret mission, Jason. Look at him.
They've got to grab. They're not going to spot this one. McGravy, there's no way he's going to eat this, and that's going to be a big Graviton surge coming through with the Rip Tire as well over the top. The Rip Tire is going to do some serious work. Catches two.
Secret Agent Harblu striking again, a well set up Graviton, and that's going to give them the breathing room that they need.
I had the James Bond song in my head when he said Secret Agent Harblu there. And they're going to have a chance to hold onto Archway, but the Graviton or Jaru, I mean, I guess they didn't expect their tire to be coming through, but a little bit misused out of him, unfortunately. But Buds is going to have his own tire. They're going to charge straight into the team, trying to force them back. They do have Jur to help speed them away, but the Earth Shatter will be a fatty, shatty catch out of two, and there's Buds with the tire to close things out.
Bud's taking out two, but Shane goes, I'm not done yet. Drops the Earth Shatter, knocks down four, swinging the hammer, ends up falling, but enough might have been done. That was a fat shatter if there ever was one, and Kungarna still might be holding the line.
Well, it's going to be tough for them to be able to do it. He's going to have a chance to contest the next point. You see Harbin trying to back away. Harbin doing a really good job of staying alive. Look at this.
He's going to have grab again.
He's 50% ahead of Jaru because he's been staying alive. He hasn't been getting picked off, and he's been maintaining this high energy. This is going to be unexpected, I'd say, for Envision. This is going to catch him off guard.
Yep, Graviton, he just lobs it in immediately. No chill, forces out the barrier, and by the way, Shane, he's back in there with the hammer, swinging away, but doesn't quite overly commit here.
Yeah, they didn't get any kills.
Yeah, they didn't want to commit on it. I don't think they had more follow through than Shane. The barrier did enough to protect it, and the offense still on their way. And here comes a Coalescence, immediately built up by Crimzo, keeping them alive, laying in damage to the back. Self-destruct, gonna be making space. Find Shane as Envision is starting to just slowly grind their way through. And here comes the tire.
Jaru's got that charge too. He's extremely well charged. He almost has a Graviton above them though. It's gonna be Jur trying to distract on the payload, trying to buy them time. Actually, they're not gonna cap the point. If Jur can just stay there, it's gonna be a 1-on-1 against Fire. Finally, someone's gonna turn around and notice this and help them out. So they can officially capture this point. But Jaru's got grab, and they've got 4.5 minutes here to ZP to push this final point.
This is a lot of time, and let's just remind people how the rules work. If they finish it with 1 minute and 1 second left, Envision will get an attack, and there will be no attack to be had for Kungarna. So Kungarna needs to delay this for at least another 3 minutes to feel even remotely comfortable. Jaru, the flanking Graviton, picks up 3. Off from the side, forces out the barrier immediately, but it's not enough. The barrier can't save Shane and Izire, and Envision once more threatening.
Jesus was on Widowmaker too, trying to do some damage. He got 72% on his infra side up, so he actually did do a lot of damage, but it's not enough to stop this pain train from coming home as he switches back to Tracer. Shane gonna try to get on top of the field. He has to grab, he has to actually has an Earthshot. I think he hit this, it's gonna be huge. Shiny just swinging away. Shane's gonna get a great shatter off. He might have turned the tide.
Shane trying to make room. Izire there on the follow through. They were able to stop Buds' tire. Shane right now, swing the hammer on the point, 80 HP, 20 dead, not able to stay alive, just too much damage on him, and this is overwhelming power right now from Envision. Just need a little bit more. What a tire snipe from Buds! Stops Izire when he might have been able to bring it back around. Envision gonna finish out with plenty of time to spare. No time will be allotted to Kungarna in this final defense.
So they've got, what, about 3 minutes? Yeah, about 3 minutes, 11 seconds to get 1/3 on the first point when they took it in the first try on the first attacking phase. This is going to be tough for Kungarna to really hold. I mean, keep in mind, this is the third map. We have a 2-0 lead for Envision. This could be Envision going through to the winner's bracket semifinal to play against Chicken Ranch Pizza.
Chicken Ranch Pizza. I love saying that name, only because I love torturing myself in my current lack of food.
I mean, you really think this through. Like, chicken fried rice is not enough to fill you for like 8 hours of casting.
I really did not think it through for a variety of reasons, okay? I mean, I still have some of the chicken fried rice left, but...
Did you make it?
Oh, no. Absolutely not.
Where'd you get it from?
Thai place, actually.
Oh,
I was
okay.
nearby.
All right. Not
It's
bad.
very tasty.
Well, I mean, we got 2 more days to cast anyways, so make sure tomorrow to have some food.
That is on the agenda. I will probably have chicken ranch pizza available.
Are you gonna get some pho?
I might.
Sorry, that's a long range joke between us.
I know.
So going into now the second attacking phase for Envision, all they need is that 1/3 to close out this map, to close out this match, and advance through into the winner bracket semifinal. Seeing a pretty similar composition from them as they push in with that triple tank setup.
Buds here in the back for Envision. On the Junkrat, again, just laying in the damage. Remember, the first time was very quick, where they had a very decisive engage. Buds laid in tons of damage. The defense is going to have to be much better this time around, but the poke war is just being run by Envision, and now they're able to move forward. Buds on the flank, takes down Jesus with a well-placed mine, and this is looking very good indeed for Envision, as they just cleave their way through.
Yeah, not much really to say about that one. We did have Izire go in, and he actually did do a fist against shield, the immovable object, an unstoppable force as he hits the Reinhardt, and they both just land on the ground themselves. But Envision looking good, looking very solid considering I'm imagining they haven't had a ton of time to actually play together. They didn't solidify the roster until yesterday, well, officially yesterday.
No, and most teams in the Tier 2 scene really haven't, because it's been sort of a game of roster poaching where some players are getting poached for OWL, some players are getting poached for other contenders' teams. It's been a sort of musical chairs version of events. So I wouldn't say most tier 2 teams right now actually have that much time with each other because big pieces get moved all the time.
I'm just really hoping like somewhere in California, it's like the California Chicken Ranch Pizzas. That'd be like a sick team name for OWL.
That would also be awesome. I mean, the pizzas. It's not really what you would expect
Papa
from
John's is their main sponsor.
Okay, that would be Denver. Okay, that would be the Denver Papa John's. Did we just leak? We might have just leaked. But while you guys consider the implications of the upcoming Owl franchise, the Denver Papa John's, we're going to be going to a quick break. And when we come back, it is going to be Envision versus Chicken Ranch Pizza. Don't miss it.